are going to be the stakes for the next box. We were using 2x4s and some basically end cuts and one that I ripped, but we ran out of those. So to save us a trip from the store and we're going to use these pieces of leftover slats that we had sticking around. Alright, let's go start building that. Building the next tier in me and Tori's terrace vegetable garden. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Alright, same thing as last time.
Yep. Pretty dang good.
Nice board, eh?
That looks great.
Yeah, we'll get a nice 2x4 out of this. And cedar too. And then this is perfect. See what I'm saying? See how much nicer this is than those old pieces? Yeah. So this is a 2x8. I milled it with my Alaskan Chainsaw mill and then ripped it with a table saw into lumber. So it's looking pretty good, and that's going to be one of the front pieces to the terraced cascading vegetable garden that Tori and I are putting in.
Should I screw it on?
Yeah. Do you have screws?
I do. Good? So now we can just dig this one.
Putting this 2x4 on top of the stakes I made, the laminated stakes, because it means they won't split when I drive them in with the mallet like the other one. Hi, Mom! Spent a good portion of the day outside again today, building the next tier in me and Tori's terrace vegetable garden. We built this one a little differently, putting the angled piece on the front bottom as opposed to the top back. And it looks pretty cool, but it was also definitely a way that we could kind of work with the natural slope of the hill and build into it. So yeah, great day working outdoors, and one more step done before we get this thing completed and get some vegetables growing. So it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. Got us a load of shit, honey.
I think this is the biggest load of shit I've ever seen from you. What does it smell like?
It doesn't smell bad. It's seasoned, like it's aged or whatever. Aged to perfection.
Perfect. Damn, those gardens look good. Not my shovel.
Yeah, good.
Oh.
I don't think you need to.
What, you mean pull this down now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you
is
think we
is
could-
that gonna work? I don't know.
Here, hold it like this.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
One, two. Okay, so wait, how do you want to do it from here?
Well,
then?
this is a lot of the soil we bought, right? So
Yeah.
we should take half of this out.
But we can all just mix it all in together.
Yeah, we should just scoop some into the next one.
Okay,
And
so
then
scoop
fill-
this into there and then... You know what? Oh, we're gonna get grass fucking going. Okay. One, two. Sometimes the river can be generous. This was an old piece of driftwood, but it was a 2x6 piece of lumber that Tori found. Kind of actually has a neat rough cut look, but we ran out of stakes, and Tori pulled this out of the river, and I was able to cut this into some stakes. So, right, living on this river, there's kind of a big back eddy, and every spring a few things wash down and kind of collect there, and we make use of it, bonfire wood, little art projects, whatever. So the river provides. And then we could just unscrew the front board, you know? Son.
So are you gonna rip out the table saw?
Yeah, you want to come help?
Yeah, pull it all out. I'm gonna get Wesley food.
Tori, could you come help for a sec?
Okay.
I just was turning this off. All right, here, you go to the other end.
Here, want me to do it?
Sure. Come to the middle.
I had one too many ciders.
Yeah, perfecte, mando. down.
We only need 8 feet.
Like that's pretty good, you know.
Well, we
And
only
then
need 8 feet. This side
right.
is good.
Yeah, and when we're gonna be back's blowing out.
Boy, smell that manure. Yeah, so this end always. It's actually just.
Do a dig down this side, hon, for the shot. Wesley! Wesley! Hey, bud! Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Make it a bit longer, maybe do like 13.
Alright. Are we using both sides or just the one? Okay. Yeah, because I kind of added all that shit. Perfect.
Do you want to do this before getting the manure? I guess we'll just throw all our other bags of like the black dirt.
I was digging it up. No?
think all this is gonna fill that?
I think so.
Okay, is that too much?
We're good. Oh yeah. Looks good.
Looks really good. Definitely can mix some of the natural soil in for sure, right?
Yeah.
Mixing though, eh?
Yeah. So we need to order a sprinkler.
Probably just have on a home hardware.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Order.
Yeah. Let's get a decent one, you know?
Yeah. There's a mud punch over there too.
Releasing some puffball spores. So hopefully more of these grow around here and we can get more puffballs. Because they're edible before they start sporing. beautiful day today, and Tori and I just finished our 3 cascading raised beds. Today we got a whole load of manure. It's actually topsoil, so it's very aged manure, so it doesn't smell really bad. But topsoil and manure basically, I suppose you can say in this case, are quite similar. So it's very manure-rich topsoil, we'll call it. So we mixed in some of the kind of triple mix that we bought out of bags, and we mix in some natural dirt. You don't want to use manure that's too fresh because it's too acidy and things aren't going to grow properly. So it's got to be aged, and I think this is aged pretty well, aged like a fine wine. And actually worked out pretty well because we were able to slide it all down the hill and get them into the raised beds. All the raised beds are full, they're all level, they're all pretty much done. There's going to be a little bit of landscaping, if you will, with kind of steps and stuff like that to make them easier to access, easier to water and stuff like that. Of course, we've got a plant. One thing I learned today that's pretty cool is that because our property is predominantly maple, the soil is going to be better than if it was predominantly pine. And that's just because probably 80 years or more of just those decaying kind of maple leaves and stuff like that. Also, the soil that hardwood trees naturally grow out of is usually less sandy than that pines grow out of. And also the leaves are better fertilizer than the needles. So that's great. That's great news. It means that mixing our soil and mixing the topsoil and manure all together is going to hopefully be the perfect mix, and we'll get some good vegetables. But I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. Still a lot of time. Of course, we got to plant, we got to mix soil, we got to kind of basically landscape around the area, these cascading beds with rocks, maybe some rock steps, make them a little easier to get to and to access. And we might decide to do an irrigation system too. Tori's been doing some research on square footage gardening, so we might get a grid over top with string just to kind of block out each foot, and that way we'll know exactly how many vegetables we can put of what type we can put in each square foot. And that's apparently one of the best ways to deal with gardening to get a maximum yield for a small amount of space. So I'm excited to get into that too. So lots to come along. Stick around because tomorrow I'm going to be milling some lumber, and I'm going to take you through the process of turning some cedar logs I have upstairs into nice boards to just stockpile some lumber and for another awesome project that we have on the go. So stick around. I'm going to have an awesome whitewater canoeing video and awesome trout fishing as well. So yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. It's looking like it's going to be a great spring, but lots more to do.